Welcome to this Indian Polity lecture. We are going to discuss everything from beginning. Here this lecture is useful for those who are preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination, then state level civil services examination, along with certain defense examinations like CDS, Combined Defense Services, even if you are preparing for National Defense Academy entrance test, that is NDA examination, then also this lecture is very much useful because we are starting from say almost all beginning. So this is very first lecture, fundamental lecture about this Indian polity. So in this first lecture I should tell you something about the way we are going to propagate. So here the first thing we are going to discuss about history of governance and policies in India. So how today's constitution is enforced. So right from, we are going to discuss from ancient period till for example when constitution actually implemented. So this will be the first part of our lecture. I hope this part is really essential for a student. If you are studying out purely for that study, then this part is essential, because then you will come to know how the various things in constitution or say practices in constitution, they came into practice directly. So this is first segment of the lecture, that is we are going to discuss about the history, and in that also various laws and all that. So how today's constitution came into enforcement. Then secondly, we are studying out constitution itself. So how we are going to discuss that what are the fundamental rights, fundamental duties and all these things, and various articles in the constitution. We are not going to discuss all articles in the constitution, but we are going to discuss many articles, those who are relevant from our point of study. Then actual governance, say what is that governing body? So president, then parliament structure, then state legislature, like that we are going to discuss. So along with only this, we are going to discuss the governance. Then obviously the fourth thing, that is court matter. So how judiciary system is developed in India and how it is functioning here. So that all. Then obviously again we are coming to constitution, and we are going to discuss about various amendments carried out in the constitution and its impacts. So like that we are going to study step by step. So at beginning only, I don't want to discuss much of the thing. So we are going to focus only on the first part, that is history. It will take nearly 2 to 3 lectures for me to discuss entire history, and then we'll come to constitution part. Now we are focusing on history part. Many of us are having concept in mind that prior to arrival of Britishers in India, we were backward, uneducated people. We were not aware of how to rule and what are the different policies and everything. But it is a fiction, we can say. It is not actually a reality, or rather I should say the Britishers, they are able to create the image in our mind that this way you were not able to rule, therefore we came here to rule. We educated you, we trained you for this purpose, and then we handed over power and we left back. So like that some concept is there in almost all, say 50-60% Indians' mind, but this is not a fact. In India, prior to Britishers, ruling systems were there. Say, you are aware of Indian history. If not, then kindly visit our other lectures on the same channel. They are there about history. India, in history, ruled by various Indian rulers and some outsider rulers also. Say for example, Greeks. ruled over certain parts of India. Actually, I should not say India today because that is today where the Greeks ruled. That part belonged to almost all Pakistan today. So Greeks ruled over that part. Then Scythians, they were another invader, most probably people from Ukraine and Central Asia. So the Scythians ruled over almost one-third part or more than one-third part of India was under Scythian domination for many years. But they are also assimilated in Indian society. Then also Kushan, that is called as Yuchi, they ruled for a while in northwestern provinces. Then there were Huns. They penetrated in India almost till Madhya Pradesh. But ultimately they were also absorbed in Indian community. So whatever the absorption is, there are some Indian techniques, whereas some outsider techniques, they were also mixed together. And a fused system that was developed here for ruling. Now, in the case of India, all these invaders, major invaders we have considered, we have not considered here invaders like Ahir, or that is called as Abhir, then Khash, Darat, Parthar. So like that, minor invaders we have not considered. Then in history, it was a major part in history that Muslim invaders. But keep in mind that religion-wise they were Muslim, but nationality-wise they were having different nationalities. Say for example, Sindh, that is the region in Pakistan today, that was ruled by Muhammad bin Qasim, an Arab invader. Okay, so Muhammad bin Qasim was Arab. Then onwards, northwest region again came into rule of, not prominent, but for a while it was under rule of Muhammad Ghaznavi. He was a Turki or Turkey person. Then after that, prominently North India came into rule of what we call as Delhi Sultanate, that is the founder, that is Muhammad Ghauri. He was also Turki, ruling from Afghanistan, but racially he was Turki. That Central Asia, that means territory beyond Afghanistan or territory to the north of Hindu Kush, that was called as Turkestan in ancient days. Now there are having various countries, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, but in ancient day it was commonly called as Turkey, Turkestan actually. So these people were coming from that region. Then onwards, no doubt India was first time, total India, almost all, not 100%, because you are aware that Assam, that region or eastern part of India, that was not invaded by these invaders, inclusive Bakhtiyar Khilji was defeated by Ahom tribes. So that is in Assam. But rest of India almost was under rule of Alauddin Khilji. Now he was called as actually Indian Muslim by some of the Indian historians, but in history book it is mentioned that he was not given charge, or rather his uncle Jalaluddin Khilji was not given charge until he proved his Turki origin. And so they were classified under Turco-Afghan. So they changed out policies. Then onwards, another type of invaders were there. They are called as Mughals. They were actually Mongols. So Hun and Mughals, they were racially same. But these Mongols invaded India, and India came under rule of certain foreign invaders. They are Mughals. Say, in any circumstances, we can't call Mughal as Indian one. Babur was Mughal, that is from Savarkar, he was there, so how we can call him Indian? And then Humayun was also from there only. But Akbar onwards, Indianization took place. But yet, various systems in the court, they were practiced, some of the Indian tradition, some of the Persian tradition. Say how Persian tradition entered in India, so that is subject of history, but they were ruled by Persian traditions also. Then onwards, it was rule of Maratha Empire. Particularly after death of Aurangzeb, within few years only, Maratha Confederacy took over maximum portion of India, and later on it was covered or rather than that conquered by Britishers. So this is something historical part I have discussed in very brief. Now in next lecture we are going to discuss about how the administrative systems changed and what way the administration came into activity.